Okay, our home plate for the weekend, page 364. Page 364, write that down, please. Home plate for the weekend, page 364. Okay, all right, here we go. Sorry? 364? It's in the back? No. I'll give you some so you can take home. Woo! Let's go! All right, here we go. Focus, please. Here we go. Our objective for today, I can identify rational and complex zeros of polynomial equations. Once again, I can identify rational and complex zeros of polynomial equations. Today we're going to finish off with this portion, and I just want to make sure that we got all our processes together before we go to the next step. So here we go. We already covered what polynomials were. We covered a review on zero theorem. And we covered a review on real numbers, rational numbers, imaginary, and how they make complex numbers, yes? And then from there we got into these, and these. Then from there we went to this one, and this one. Copy this one, please. Example 1Q. G of x equals x to the fourth plus 2x cubed plus, minus 9x squared minus 18x. All right. If you have your colored pens, have them ready. I'm going to write processes on the right-hand side just to clarify some doubts from some of you. Here we go. Focus, please. Step 1. Step 1, we are going to assume with step 1 as we get started that from now on all these have been given to us in standard form. So therefore, step 1 is make EQ equal to 0. So make the equation equal to 0. So g of x turns into 0. We have x to the fourth plus 2x cubed minus 9x squared minus 18x. All right. Step 2. Step 2, which is very important, which is one that you guys, some of you skipped on the home plate. Step 2. Ramon and Nathan, you guys ready? Okay, let's get back to the lesson. Stop browsing, please. So, second step is GCF. You need to check to see if there's a GCF. If you didn't check, you did a lot of extra work. Here it goes. Look up to the screen. Is there such a number that divides each term other than 1? No. Is there such a variable that does? Yes, x. So therefore, we're left with x cubed plus 2x squared minus 9x minus 18. And all that equal to 0. All right. Step 3. Step 3, we're going to generalize it. We're going to call it factor. However, first way of factoring that I want you to check once you get these big polynomials, I want you to check factor by grouping. Factor by grouping. If you cannot find factors by grouping, step B of that one would be, would be synthetic division. First you check for what? By grouping. If not, you go to what? Synthetic division. Don't go straight to synthetic division because most of the time it will work, but you're going to do a lot of extra work. So let's try by grouping first. Let's see if it works. Can we group these two and these two? Let's check. What is GCF for these two terms? X squared. And we're left with x plus 2. What is GCF for these two? Negative 9. And we're left with x plus 2. Now check this out. Some of you that still get confused with this, look up. If we have in these two terms two factors that are exactly the same, it did work. But if you did GCF, GCF, and these two factors are not identical, it did not work. Then that means you need to do synthetic division. In this case, it did. So therefore, this becomes x plus 2. And what's left here? The x squared minus 9, x squared minus 9. And what does this look like? Difference of squares. Square root of the first, that is x and x. What is square root of 9? Positive 3 and negative 3. And that only works if what? If we have a subtraction. Let me scoot up. There it is. Okay, here it goes. Make a note right here. And I want you to circle this piece right here. Arrow outside, asterisk, heart. Only works if that's a negative. If it's a positive, it does not work. This process does not work. That's why that pattern is known as difference of squares. Turn off those phones, my goodness. Here it goes. Bring this down. X plus 2. And also don't forget about who? The BFF. Bring it down. X equals 2, 0. Are we there so far? Yes. All right, so let's see the process. Step 1, make it equal to 0. Yes. Step 2, GCF, did we check that? Yes. Step 3, factor. Which two methods? Either by grouping or synthetic. Now that we have that, let's go to the last step. Step number 4. We're going to set each factor equal to 0 and solve. Set each factor equal to 0 and solve. I'm going to give you guys as a team a problem. You're going to follow this process. If you follow the process to the T, you will get the correct answer. If you skip any of the steps, you're going to make a mistake. I'm giving you a heads up. Okay, here it goes. So what's step 4? Set each one equal to 0. So we're going to write what? X equal to 0. That one's already solved. X plus 2 equal to 0. X plus 3 equal to 0. And x minus 3 equal to 0. Let's solve. Minus 2 minus 2. X equals negative 2. Minus 3 minus 3. X equals negative 3. Plus 3 plus 3. X equals 3. All right? All these, look at them. Do you see any imaginary numbers here? No i's, no negative square roots. So that means all of these are rational zeros. That's why they are not complex. These are rational. If they are rational, that means we can do what? Graph. We can graph these. Let's graph this. Here we go. My first 0 is 0. And then we go to what? Negative 2. And then we go to negative 3. And then the last one is positive 3. Now to refresh in your memory in regards to graphing, look up to the screen. Y equals x to the first is a straight line going from the bottom to the top right. Y equals x to the second is a parabola. It starts at the top left and it ends at the top right. You guys remember this? Y equals x to the third. We start at the bottom and it goes to the top, but it does a little wiggle in between. Y equals x to the fourth. It's like the parabola, but it does a little wiggle down here and it still ends on the other side. That's what's going to happen to all the evens, and this is what happens to all the odds. Therefore, how many zeros did we find, everyone? 4. That means it's going to look like this. Is that correct? We're going to start up here and going through each of the zeros. Let's see. Start right here, going through there, 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 and there. We good? All right. Any questions with this? We got it, right? Okay. Copy this one. Example, Michael Jordan cube, NJ cube. Once again, go through all the steps, please. Stop getting distracted. F of x equals 2x cubed plus 4x squared plus 18x plus 36. I'm going to go, I'll give you 3 minutes. All right? Go together and do that together with your neighbor, please. I want you guys to talk it out through every step and make sure you're agreeing with every step as you go along. Ready? Copy and go. All right, let's see. Get us started, please. Carlo, what's the first step? Set equal to 0. Very good. 2x cubed plus 4x squared plus 18x plus 36. Pass it to another group. Damien, what's the next step? GCF. What is GCF? 2. That is correct. X cubed plus 2x squared plus 9x plus 18. Hands if you got up to right there by yourself. Okay, good. Pass it to another team. Perla. Next step. Just read your third step. What is the third step? Factor. And which method are you going to use? By grouping. All right, let's see if it works. Group. GCF here is x squared. We're left with x plus 2 plus GCF there is 9, x plus 2. Do we have two identicals? Yes, it did work. Thank you, Perla. X plus 2. And then what's left over? The x squared and the plus 9. So we have x squared plus 9. Question? No. I was going to ask what you guys were going to do with the region. No, just kidding. Tell your neighbor why this one, we cannot do anything else with this. Talk it over to your neighbor, please. Because it's not negative. That is correct. So we leave it as is. Bring down the BFF. Write it there. Equal to 0. If you made a mistake and you did factor it out, correct it and make a note for yourself so you won't forget. Step 4. Pass it to someone, please. Who? Zab? Oh, Zab. What do we do in the next step? Yeah, read the step. Read the step, please. Read the step that you wrote down. Set each factor equal to 0. So we write 2 equal to 0. X plus 2 equal to 0. Okay, guys. As I'm going through this, please focus. I can't be like, I feel like people are talking over me. 2 equal to 0, x plus 2 equal to 0, x squared plus 9 equal to 0. All right, question. Is 2 equal to 0? No, we got rid of BFF by minus 2, x equals negative 2. How about this one? Minus 9, x squared equals negative 9. What do we do at the end? Square root. Tell your neighbor what that is. X equals plus minus 3i. That is correct. Now, do you see an imaginary number? Yes, therefore we cannot graph this. Therefore, we're going to write 1 rational 0. Where is it at? Right there. Comma. And 2 complex zeros. Point to this and explain to your neighbor why that is 2 complex. If you didn't see it with different colors indicated here, here's 1 and here's 2. Those are my 2 complex zeros. Show me what famous outcomes you are so far. 4 5s, 4 5s, 3.5, 4 5s. Okay. Let's do another one. Example, Star Wars Q. P of x equals x cubed minus 3x squared plus 4x minus 12. This one you should be to complete it all the way through with your team. You got 2.5 minutes. Ready? Copy that in. Go. I'm going to send you a blank screen so you can send me the work as soon as you're done. Copy that in. Go. Let's see. Get us started, please. Leo. Set it equal to 0. X cubed minus 3x squared plus 4x minus 12. Pass somebody. Ramon, next step. Okay, did you check for GCF? Was there any GCF, everyone? No, so then he goes straight to factor by grouping. Let's see if it works. GCF here is x squared. We're left with x minus 3. GCF here is 4. We're left with x minus 3. It looks like it did work. So therefore, you end up with x minus 3. And this is x squared plus 4. And all that equals to 0. Hands, have you got it to right there? Okay, pass them up. Kenzie. Set them to 0. X minus 3 equal to 0. X squared plus 4 equal to 0. And then we solve, yes? Plus 3, x equals 3, minus 4, x squared equals negative 4, square root, what do we notice? Plus minus what? 2i, that is correct. Hands, have you got that? So, since we have a complex, can we graph this? No, so let's write 1 rational 0, comma, 2 complex zeros. And once again, explain to your neighbor why those are 2, please. All right? Show me your favorites. I'll come to you out with this. Yeah, we got this, yes? All right. So, guys, focus, please. So, now we need, let's see, if you're way at the bottom of your paper, turn the paper over. We're going to use the last part. And write this down, example number 2. Example 2. It reads, write a polynomial function given the zeros. Write a polynomial function given the zeros, 1 and 3. Just copy it, and I'm going to elaborate. And once again, we're going to start slow, and then it'll get funner as we go along. All right? Okay, here we go. It reads, write a polynomial function given zeros, 1 and 3. Okay? All right, here we go. Writing utensils down, look up to the screen. So, like anything in life, when you learn something, they usually have you repeat it, but then from there they have you do it backwards. So if you drive to LA, then you need to know the way back home. And then you need to do that a couple of times. Well, guess what we're going to do now? We already found zeros from an equation. Now we have zeros. Now we need to find the equation. So stay focused, please, because I'm going to be asking you questions for you guys to be thinking as I go along. You'll copy the whole thing at the end. Stay focused, please. Here it goes. This is saying that these are my zeros. That means, if they are my zeros, that means it's x equals 1 and x equals 3. Do you agree with that? Yes. All right. Stop writing. Just focus, please. Here it goes. Here goes the question. If this is the last step of finding the zeros, what did it look like right here? Don't say it out loud. Keep it to yourself. What did it look like before we got there? Tell your neighbor, please, what did it look like? Okay, look up please. Let's see if you agree. X minus 1 equals 0 and x minus 3 equals 0. Hands if you said that. Okay, look up please. So, before this, before setting each one equal to 0, think about it, don't say it out loud. What did it look like here? Tell your neighbor please. What did it look like there? That is correct. 0 equals parentheses x minus 1 and x minus 3. Hands if you said that. That is correct. If you're not saying that, guys, if you're not saying that, it's because you're getting distracted. You're not thinking and you're getting distracted. And right now, this is a simple one. I'm just giving you a heads up. This is a very simple one. I'm doing the tic-tac-toe before we accelerate that. Here it goes. If this looked like this, what did we do to get there? Factoring, which means dividing. But since we're going backwards, what are we going to do now? Multiply. So that means x times x, x squared. X times negative 3, negative 3x, negative 1 times x, negative 1x, and negative 1 times negative 3, positive 3, and all that equal to 0. Before that, could we combine like terms? Yes. X squared minus 4x plus 3. And before this was 0, what did it look like? F of x equals x squared minus 4x plus 3. Copy that, please. Make sure you draw an arrow like this, that you're going backwards. Copy that. Example 2Q, the zeros are negative 2 and 5. Find me the equation. You got 2 minutes. Ready, go. All right. By now you should have gotten something, and here goes the correct answer. Anything of x, so I'm going to just use q of x equals x squared minus 3x minus 10. Hands if you got that. That is correct. We got this, yes? All right. Look up, please. Don't copy this next one. I just want you to pay attention. Look up. Check this out. 1, negative 2, and 3. So what does that mean? That we're going to end up with a cubic function. But where do we start? X equals 1, x equals negative 2, and x equals 3. Help me out. What does this look like before? X minus 1 equal to 0, and then x plus 2 equal to 0, and then x minus 3 equal to 0. What does it look before that? 0 equals what? X minus 1 times x plus 2 times x minus 3. Now, pay attention to this part. I'm going to multiply these two, and I end up with a quadratic. Is that correct? And then what do I do at the end? Multiply this times this binomial, and you're going to end up with what? A cubic with 4 terms. Does that make sense? And all that equal to f of x or whatever x you want. Okay? I'm not going to go over this because that's basically just adding more binomials and the multiplication. But where I do want to go to is this next one. Look up. Focus. Let me write my zeros. Guys, I'm going to take you guys after school even if we stay a couple more minutes. I need to finish. Ready? Here it goes. What's my 0? X equals 1. What's my next 0? X equals 3. But if it says multiplicity of 2, that means that not only once, I need to write it twice because that's the multiplicity. That's what it means. That's all it means, that the number that's right before where it says multiplicity, we write it as many times as that says. Any questions? Okay, copy this at least so you can have that as your own notes. Example 2 super duper Q. Copy that. And we know what to do from there, right? Just go backwards and so on and so forth. All right? Now look at this one. Look up, please. Writing utensils down, look up. My 0, x equals 5. X equals plus minus, that is correct. Positive square root of 2 and x equals minus square root of 2. Copy that, please. And of course, working backwards is the same thing. This becomes what? X minus square root of 2, x minus negative square root of 2, and then whatever. I mean, plus square root of 2. All right? Does everybody understand why we wrote 1 and 2 like this? Because square roots are what? Plus minus. Look at this one. Look up, please. Where's my 0? X equals 2. Tell your neighbor the zeros for this one. 3i and negative 3i. That is correct, because that comes from where? From a square root. Yes? In mathematics, we call that the conjugal. All right, and do we know what to do from here? Yes. X minus 2 equal to 0. X minus 3i equal to 0. X plus 3i equal to 0. And then your parentheses and so on and so forth. Okay? Yeah. Yes, this is going to give us a cubic function. Is that correct? 1, 2, 3. Oh, please, on page, page 364 only. What's that? What's that? Some coffee? I'll stop right there. I'm going to stop the video. Those in the video, hopefully this helps. Have a good weekend. Bye.